So I just got a package from Kondor Blue. Obviously, a bunch of cables, but also the V-mount Pro plate. And I've actually got it on my rig now, and I'm going to talk about how it makes this rig so much better. Firstly, just all the cables. I got a 10-foot XLR cable that I'm using to record audio right now. Also got a short right angle XLR cable, which is perfect for when I'm using a shotgun mic on the top handle of my FX30. Right now I've got the top handle on the A7 IV, but it would still work. It's just I have the shotgun mic down here rather than up there. And they also sent an HDMI cable that I'm using here, and a pack of Mondo ties, which are like a cable management tool for the rig, and I'll get to that in a second. But to the V-mount Pro. Now, you might also notice I've also got the Hollyland Pyro S on here. Video about that coming soon. I'll talk about that another time. I also got that yesterday, but I did buy it. Hollyland didn't send it to me. Although if Hollyland wants to send me anything else, feel free to. But basically how this plate works is it is a power distribution plate for the V-mount battery that I've got here. So right now I've got all of my devices here plugged into the plate and nothing is plugged into the battery, which means if I want to take this battery off and then put another one on, I don't have to unplug anything. And how these work is, if you haven't seen a power distribution plate like this, they've got their BP interface down here, which is also the bottom of, you know, a V-mount battery. And that is how the power comes out of the battery into the plate. And what I can also do, because this plate has an on-off switch here, now there's like a magneted like cover here, so you can't accidentally turn it on or off. So I can turn it on or off. So that means that if I have everything plugged in, I can just switch it off at the plate. So that means no power is coming out of the battery, and charging my camera when it's off, when it's already fully charged. Because if you plug a USB cable into these cameras, while they're turned off, they'll still keep charging the batteries even if it's full. So they're just gonna keep wasting power from the V-mount, but I can just turn it straight off. It also means I can leave devices on, like the Pyro S. I can leave it in the on position. It's not gonna turn on because there's no power going to it. But then if I switch it on here, it'll turn on. So it's not quite a one switch turns everything on, but it's about as close as I can get at the moment. I still have to turn on the camera and the monitor, but other than that, it works pretty well. Oh, and the Nucleus Nano 2. So let's go through what I've actually got plugged in on there. I have a D-Tap to DC cable going to my monitor. This is the Field World LUT 7. Just got a DC input, so I don't have to run batteries on the monitor. I have another D-Tap to DC cable, the same cable. They're the Kondor Blue 15-inch D-Tap to DC cables. And I have that going in to the Pyro S right there. On the top, I've got a USB-C cable going out of the PD port, going around through a Mondo tie, by the way. Mondo tie I've got right on there. And that is going into the USB-C port on the camera. So it'll charge the internal battery. So basically when you have the camera turned on, it's constantly getting charged, so it never actually dies. And it doesn't even really lose much battery when it's plugged in anyway. And it means that if I do need to hot swap the batteries or turn off the plate or something like that, there's still the internal battery that can, you know, keep powering the camera. So I think in a lot of cases, that's kind of better than a dummy battery. There's advantages to dummy batteries, but generally this is what I prefer to do. And then on the other side, in the second USB-C port right here, we've got a USB-C cable going to the motor of my Tilta Nucleus Nano 2. So it's powering the focus motor there. So 2 USB ports, 2 D-Tap ports, and then it's also got 2 DC ports, an 8 volt and a 12 volt right there. I don't have anything plugged into them now because I don't have anything else I need to power. And then they also do have like expansion modules that there's like a little thing on the top here where you can add like 5 or 2 pin LEMOs, I'm pretty sure. So you can power other things or like more professional sort of things that don't just use, you know, a barrel jack or USB-C. And I want to also talk about these D-Tap ports. I'm gonna unplug this here. And as you can see, there's actually 3 holes there and it's not symmetrical. So if you look at a D-Tap like connector, that you can see it's round on the top and square on the bottom. And why this plate has 3 of those, it means it's a reversible D-Tap. So D-Tap only goes in one way. So basically how this works is you can either go in the bottom 2 pointing down or in the top 2 pointing up. So it means the polarity is always the same and you can always get power from it, but it means you're not restricted to having the cable only coming out up or down. You can choose. And both of the ports on this plate are like that, which I actually really like. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get this, was because I wanted to have not only 2 D-Tap ports so I can power, you know, my new wireless transmitter, but also the ability to, you know, run it up or down depending on how I want to run, because on this side, it makes sense to go up and go around along to the left, so I have no cables on the right. And then on the left side, it makes sense to go down along the edge of the rod here, which sort of keeps things out of the way. So that's a very handy feature with this plate, and I don't know if anyone else does that apart from Kondor Blue. Maybe they do, but I haven't seen it. And then maybe I should have mentioned this before, but how it connects to rods is just like, it's just a standard 15mm rod holder, and it has an adjustable angle here, so you can loosen that and you can tilt, you know, tilt it however you want. I just have it straight up and down because I feel like that makes sense. And you can also adjust where that's mounted. There's mounting holes all over the back of the plate, so you can mount the rod adapter basically however you want. So you could have it like up at the top, you could have it upside down, you could put it on the side, however you want to mount it, it'll work. And then there's also 3/8 inch with RA locating pin mounts in there as well, in case you want to mount other accessories. What would be nice is if they also put a couple of 1/4-20s on there, so I could maybe put a Mondo tie or two on the back of there to help with cable management, because where I have the Mondo ties now, there's 2 1/4-20 mounts on the top here, have a Mondo tie there for these 2 cables. Then I also have a Mondo tie on the top of this handle here. Now this is just a small rig rotating handle, and I have my HDMI cable to my monitor going through that, so it keeps it up and out of the way, so it's not in the way of my hand when I grab it here. It doesn't get like down in front of the handle like that. And this rig itself, like, you know, for the FX30, it's not a huge camera. There's not a heap of mounting points, so if I had like a bigger camera with more space for mounting points, I could probably put more Mondo ties and cable manage a bit better. And I also am not a big fan of how these mirrorless cameras have all their ports out on the side compared to a box camera where they usually will have it out the back. There's nothing I can really do about any of that, so just got to deal with it. But yeah, this is basically my new rig. I can put a matte box or filters on the front of there. Don't have anything on there at the moment. And it's also kind of weird now because it's a very hybrid small rig tilter Kondor Blue rig now. There's a little bit of everything from all of them, so I don't know who's going to be happy about that, but I mean, they all make great stuff, and there's certain things that I either prefer from, you know, one company versus the other, or that I just have from one company versus the other. All the small rig stuff I bought, Tilter sent me some stuff, and then yeah, Kondor Blue just sent me this. So, and really the only downside that I have, apart from the missing 1/4-20 screws on the back, the biggest issue that I have with this is maybe it's just to do with how it, you know, articulates with the small rig VB99 Pro, but the actual V-mount itself is a little bit hard to get in and hard to get out. Like it's not just press the button and pull. You really have to give it some leverage. So it's a bit different to both this is the tilter pocket one here. Like that one, it goes really low because this is tiny, but it stays on relatively easy. But I find the best one so far, the lock mechanism at least, is this one from Small Rig, which clips on really nice. It's very dampened, so it's sort of like a slow, like push it down and then it clicks in, and then take it out pretty easy. So that would be my one gripe with the V-Mount Pro. Otherwise, it is a phenomenal product, and I'm really glad Kondor Blue sent it to me. So thanks to them for doing that. However, they're not sponsoring this video or anything like that. They didn't pay me for anything, so it's a great piece of gear and a great addition to my rig. If you use V-mount batteries but haven't used a powered plate, I would suggest you maybe look into it because there are a bunch of advantages, and this one in particular because it is great. Now it is, you know, a little bit more expensive than others, which makes sense, but I really like it. So yeah, video on the Pyro S coming soon. If you haven't seen my video about V-mount batteries, maybe go watch that, or, you know, one of my FX30 videos, and I'll see you next time. Do all the other things. Okay, bye.